Hi, I'm Saffron Pemberton-Jandu, and I'm joined here today by partner Tomm Adams, who leads Blick Rothenberg's international pensions and benefits services. We're here to discuss today the upcoming changes with pension salary sacrifice. We've had confirmation today in the budget on the 26th of November that pension salary sacrifice will only count for the first £2,000. This has widely been remarked in press conferences. However, perhaps the biggest surprise is that it's not going to come into play until April 2029. So, Tom, what's the biggest impact on employees, first of all?
Well, the financial impact on employees very much depends on the level of contributions that they're making. But if we take an example, say someone on a reasonable salary of £40,000 who's sacrificing 10% into their pension, so that's £4,000, they'll actually be charged an additional £160 a year in national insurance. And what that means is that they've got to absorb the cost somewhere. So potentially they're being disincentivized from making such high contributions. And ultimately that might lead to a poorer retirement outcome overall.
Absolutely. And what would you say is the impact for employers?
So, I mean, the financial impact is even greater, the way it's leveraged with the higher employer NIC rate. So in the same situation, the employee is suffering additional NIC of £160. The employer is going to be facing additional charges of £300. There's also additional administrative things to consider. So nobody's really worked out yet how employers are going to be reporting this on payroll, for example, and how they're going to track it overall.
The Chancellor believes that this is going to rake in an additional £4.7 billion in 2029-2030. But how likely do you think that is?
I think it's pretty unlikely, to be honest. So I can see a couple of ways that this might play out. So number one, as you said, it's 3.5 years away. So that gives employers 3.5 years to think, frankly, how to mitigate or work around the incoming rules. So that might look like, for example, making lower salary offers to new hires in exchange for higher pension contributions. So if that happens, there's no way that the Chancellor is going to make her 4.7 billion. The other thing, which I think could be maybe even more destructive, is that it could influence employers' reward behaviours overall. So, for example, for existing hires, they might find it harder to give pay rises. We could see a fall in productivity. It could even have an effect on employment numbers overall. So even if the Chancellor does get that 4.7 billion, it will come at considerable cost to the workforce in general.
So to finish this off, what should employers think about doing in the short term?
Well, yes, it's 3.5 years away, but it's not too early to start thinking and planning. And, this is definitely not the time to make knee-jerk reactions. So I think employers can start by looking at their current cost base and the current pensions policy and how it fits within reward, and think about how that's going to play out over the next few years. Model the numbers, get some advice, and think about how best to manage things going forward. And for the employees as well, there's an opportunity to look at, say, putting more money in now if you can afford to do so, to maximise the benefits now. And of course, the great thing about compounding is that hopefully that will lead to some good growth in your pension pot as well.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for that. I think our viewers will find that very interesting. And if you do wish to find out more, speak to your usual Blick Rothenberg contact or go to our website and click the Budget Hub.